Welcome back to another episode of Banditland Boulevard. Trevor Hauer. We got my guy over here, Tony LaMonica, a.k.a. Boxhead98TL. We are going over the Buffalo Bandits 2026 season preview, a season where we're going to quest for the four-peat. A lot is on the line going into this season. Bandits want to keep this dynasty going. And what better way to preview the season than by doing it just a few nights out from game one. It is Tuesday, November 25th, 2025. They start on Saturday against the Georgia Swarm. Doing a little schedule breakdown and a little breakdown of the rosters as well. And who knows, maybe give you our season predictions going into this one. But Tony, a lot on the line going into this year. The Bandits have made the championship finals every year since extending pre-COVID, since 2019. Do we think that continues, and how are we feeling going into this season? We did our roster transactions episode yesterday. The roster is already set. How are you feeling going into the 26th season?
Well, you got to go there with the expectations are super high, especially now with winning 3 straight titles. With the changes that we have had and the players that we had to say goodbye to, I got a good feeling that the replacements that are going to fill in the shoes, we're going to be back at the dance again, but I don't know if it's going to be as easy as people might say it is. It's going to be a lot harder now that we got a lot more competition out there, especially with some of the players that have been moved around, especially now with the new CPA rules.
Yeah, a lot of other teams got a lot better with the new CBA and the new salary cap. I mean, other teams have gotten so much better. And, I look at Rochester, a rivalry down the 90. They got a whole lot better this year. I think the Ottawa Black Bears got a lot better this year. There are some teams that you could write off immediately almost, just taking a look at their rosters and be like, I don't know if they're going to be a true threat. Still rocking with the unified standings. The top 8 teams make the postseason. I think the Bandits for sure make the postseason. Spoiler alert, but yeah, the team that won 3 straight championships, I don't think is missing the playoffs this year. But doing a little quick schedule breakdown. So this Saturday, November 29th at 7:30 for banner raising night. We got the
7:30.
7:30 in Banditland. 7:10 is the banner raising ceremony at the KeyBank Center. So that's going to be big. The Bandits are taking on the Georgia Swarm. They always play each other very, very closely. Then they have a bye week. Then they take on the Thunderbirds, another home game on December 13th. They travel to Calgary right after Christmas on December 28th at 6:00 p.m. to take on the Roughnecks. And then a very highly anticipated game coming up on this one. So if you look at the schedule, don't even look at the teams real quick. The Bandits' first 4 games, they have 3 of them. 3 of them are at home. 3 out of their first 4 games of the season are home games. You'd think, while the Bandits did struggle at home a little bit during the regular season last year, that should always help them out in the long run. If you have Banditland behind you for 3 out of your first 4 games of the season, that's only going to help you out. But that 4th game does come against Chris Cloutier. It comes against Chase Fraser and Mitch Jones in the Las Vegas Desert Dogs. So would you consider that game, other than the first game of the season, of course, banner racing night, which feels like a yearly tradition at this point in Banditland, would you think that the number one highlighted game, if you took a red pen and you circle the game on the schedule, for me, it's the Las Vegas game. It's the homecoming game between these two.
Yeah, especially with the 2 main guys that we've let go coming back home, especially where they were loved and were very, very key players at the time of our 3 title runs. It's going to be hard to boo against them and to not to say, hey, we gotta be hateful against them. It's going to be mixed feelings, especially when they come back. But I'm sure they're going to say, hey, like hockey players do when they go to another team. They're going to give that tribute video and everything. And believe me when I say this, I don't think there's going to be a boo in the crowd. They're going to be cheering. They're going to be thanking them, and it's going to suck not having them as the Buffalo Bandits any longer. But again, now that actually kind of brings a little bit of eye raising a little bit, because like you stated before, this is their time now to be the leaders of the pack. This is their main role. So if they're going to look to as like Josh Byrne and Dane Smith, we do. It's going to be Chase Fraser and Chris Kluche now for their team. So it's going to be fun to watch for sure. I think it's going to be an epic scoring battle, but it depends on how good our goaltending is too that day.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, you got Sean Williams on the other side of that too. You got the first game of the Tucker Cup between these two teams. I'm absolutely circling that game. And then throw on top of that, Chase Fraser, Chris Kluche, Mitch Jones coming back to town. You know, with you get a little bit of a homecoming there. So that's going to be always fun to see. Then the next game, this is when things start to get tough. The Bandits go on the road in Rochester on January 10th at 7 o'clock p.m. Then the following week, they host Ottawa. So for the first time since the New York Riptide turned into the Ottawa Black Bears, this is going to be the first time the Bandits host the new Ottawa team in their team's history. So first time ever the Black Bears will be coming to Banditland. That is on January 16th. Another highly anticipated game, because if you just look at the way that if you go to the Ottawa Black Bears website and look at their roster, they have built that team tremendously in this offseason. They look like a completely different team. Got a couple familiar faces on that team too. Kevin Burnell, Brent Noseworthy, a couple former Bandits on that team too. And then you got to go to Denver. This is never an easy game. So next 3 games after the first 4, the next 2 out of 3 are on the road. 1 in Rochester and 1 in Denver. If you look at Rochester's roster, I mean, we can name you players right off the rip. Ryan Smith, Thomas McConvey. You got Connor Fields, Zed Williams. They got a lot better in the offseason too. And then it's never a blowout in Denver. The game is always close between the Bandits and the Mammoth, especially in their house. The next 3 games after the first 4 get pretty tough. And then we'll see what happens in the start of February. The Bandits do host the Philadelphia Wings. Joey Rezateritz comes back to town to take on the Bandits. Then the Bandits go to Halifax. So hopefully Ryan Benesh is activated for that game, and we get to see him tear up the Halifax Thunderbirds, the team that he's played on for quite a while. That is on Valentine's Day. Then they go to Vancouver to take on Christian Del Bianco on that is February 20th at 7 o'clock p.m. And then a rematch of the 2025 finals, the Saskatchewan Rush, come to Banditland on February 27th. And in case you were wondering, were they going to have any back-to-backs like they did last year? Last year, they had 3 different times they had back-to-back games, including one of them in the championship finals. Guess what? They get to play back-to-back again. A home game against Saskatchewan, followed by a road game in Hamilton. Quick turnaround. They played the Toronto Rock on February 28th.
The only time they played Toronto this year, too.
Isn't it crazy? We don't even get a Toronto home game, do we?
No, we do not.
Bizarre. With the unified standings, I'm really not used to not facing against Toronto twice a season. Still in year 3 of this unified standings, but you already know my feelings on it, Tony. The back-to-back games on back-to-back nights. I'm circling both of those games, man. I mean, it seems like it's always a tough go around, especially when one of them's a home game and one of them is a road game. And I know that Hamilton from Buffalo is just an hour and 20 up the road, but that's still tough. It's wear and tear on the body, and I don't believe that the Toronto Rock play any back-to-backs when the Bandits are coming to town too. So the Bandits are coming off of a game, and Toronto's going to be well rested. I'm always circling those 2 games as well.
Yeah, especially when you go up against one of your former opponents in the championship title game against the Rush at home, and then you have to pack up and just take a bus up to Toronto, to Hamilton, like you stated. And depending on staying healthy, given 100% gas in the first game, and then you have nothing in the tank for the second game, you got to kind of conserve. I don't know how that game plan is going to be, but that's up to Johnny T and the staff to do what he's got to do for the team. But other than that, I mean, basically just play safe, but not too safe, because you don't want to be out there and just losing the games, but go out there and just play to have fun. But don't overexert if, God forbid, you feel like it's going to be like, oh, we got to go do this back-to-back thing again. But again, we've seen these boys handle it with, even if it's like a split, I'll be accepting a split. If it's a win at home and a loss on the road, okay, so be it. But if you come out as double winners, that's great too as well. But it all depends on the health and the status of our players and making sure that they stay healthy and fresh for those 2 games.
And when you look at a team like Toronto, a team that had 3 first-round picks this year, and you only faced against them once. I mean, that's the game that I need the Bandits to win because you got to get the head-to-head over Toronto. You got to know that Daddy's home, and the Bandits are the certified owners of the Toronto Rock. So you gotta establish your dominance there. What's funny is the Bandits play the Mammoth and the Rush and the Warriors twice, and the Nighthawks twice.
Yep.
But they play the Toronto Rock just one time. That's interesting to me.
One and only.
The Mammoth, speaking of them, after a bye week, after the back-to-back nights, thank God there's a bye week in between there. March 13th, the Bandits are hosting the Colorado Mammoth at 7:30. Then they travel to San Diego on March 21st to take on the Seals. Then they travel to Saskatchewan the week after, March 28th, to take on the Rush. Then the Bandits come home and face against the Vancouver Warriors, home against the Nighthawks, and then at the newly renovated and the newly freshly moved, formerly Albany, Oshawa Firewolves to end this season. Tony, after looking at some of the ways that, these other teams are built and the new salary cap that's going to be in place in a couple years, it doesn't seem like a walk in the park. This seems like a gauntlet schedule this year, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sure does, and it's not going to be easy. Like last year, I'm surprised how well we have played, and we ended up what did we end up? 13-4?
13-5. Yep.
13-5. I don't see that happening this year either, because it's going to be a very much difficult season, especially now with players getting scattered, and maybe you see a team that's stacked. I mean, obviously we know our guys. We know how well they can work together, but losing the two, going into playing for another team, they might surprise you. It may not be like those no-name players that just sneak their way up into the playoff picture. And you know what? That's okay. That's what makes this league interesting to watch. It's no longer – the spotlight might not be on our boys in the orange and black. It could be on any team known to man. And that's what the league is trying to do, is try to make things fair, but also make things interesting for maybe other cities to come aboard. And then I guarantee you that once more cities come aboard, then I got a feeling more and more players are going to go and, do their separate things. But I think it's going to be a much difficult season this year. Yes.
Yeah, with the new salary cap, the Bandits aren't allowed to use the luxury tax, and that's something that they've used for the longest time.
And the new rule not being in the crease either for the defenders.
Yeah, for the defensemen, you can't stand in the crease and try to block shots. You have to be on the outside perimeter and try to attack it that way. So we'll have to see how the Bandits adapt. But if there was a team to overcome all the odds, and we're not counting out the Bandits. I mean, we're just telling you how it is. It's probably going to be a lot more difficult, especially you're trying to four-peat. I mean, can you imagine 3 years ago on this show that we were saying that the Bandits would be able to three-peat? If you told us that 3 years ago, we'd say, are you out of your mind? Like, with how talented this league is, how do you even win back-to-back? Well, the Bandits found a way to get three in a row because they're the best team in the sport. They're the undisputed champions, the only team in the league with 7 titles. So if there was a team to do it from any sort of adversity, it's the Buffalo Bandits without a shadow of a doubt. But you heard that schedule. I want to do a little quick roster breakdown before we give you our schedule predictions, because I don't know. I think just looking at the roster right now, most of your core is still there. You're missing Chris Cloutier, who missed a ton of the season last year due to injury. And, we're going to miss Chris. Of course we are. And, of course, we're going to miss the human highlight reel that was Chase Fraser. But they got to adapt too. I don't know if they're going to go into Las Vegas and be these, masterminds and pick up right where they left off. They don't have Josh with them. They don't have Dane with them. They don't have Clay Scanlon with them or Matt Vince between the pipes. You are going from Matt Vince, the top dog, to Landon Kells. That's like a million steps down to where Matt Vince is. So get ready to learn defense, boys. Get ready to learn transition, because it's not going to be the Matt Vince show. He can't pick up all of your mess, kind of like what he did in the middle of the season last year when the Bandits hit their little skid. But let's look at the forwards right now. This is, again, as of November 25th, 2025. These are subject to change at any point. So if you are watching this and you're saying, why the hell is he on the practice squad? We are recording this, 4 nights before the first game of the season?
That's right.
That's why. So a quick roster breakdown. Let's go over our forwards here. You got a pretty solid core. You got Tehoka Nanakoke, 6'1", 230, and he is looking for a bounce back season. I'm already circling this next player. Ian McKay is a full-time forward going into the 2026 season. Last year, broke his own goal scoring record midway through the season as a transition. Tony, he's going into this year as a full-time forward. He's not going to be back checking as much as he did. It's going to be pedal to the metal, balls to the wall. I'm going to shoot every single chance I get. What is the limit here? What is the ceiling for Ian McKay? Because when I see him, that he's a full-time forward, I'm salivating at the mouth, thinking about what could be. Or we could be looking at potential MVP status of the league. He stormed onto the scene last year and took everybody by surprise. I think he's finally hit his prime, his true prime, and now you're moving him to a full-time forward spot where he's going to be doing nothing but getting constant goals and assists. Dude, I'm fired up for this.
Yeah, the MVP of last year's title game. Let me tell you, you thought he was a surprise then. Wait till this year now. He's going to be going out there and really surprising a lot of teams. And I'm sure they know, since how well he has adapted and how much he has produced last year. And that's something that a lot of teams have got to try to lock down. But how can you lock down? Again, I feel like this squad, even without Chase and even without Chris, we have a solid core offense. And it's amazing that Ian McKay himself, from defenseman to transition, now to forward, can play any position on this roster, if, God forbid, anybody got hurt. So, and he can find ways to score, and he's going to score a lot this year. I think maybe, I don't know, say 30, 40 goal season.
I wouldn't put it past him, dude.
I mean, I'd like to see him get more than 80 points. I mean, that would be my goal for him, is to reach 80. I don't think he hit 80 before. Has he ever hit 80 before?
Oh, I don't know. I think he hit.
We'd have to go into the archives to find this out, but I got a feeling he's going to hit 80, 85 around that window. And if he does, that's scary.
Stats, he for sure hit 80. If you playoffs too, absolutely.
Yeah, I would have to say 80, 85. That would be my prediction. And that's another guy you got to watch out for. He really, like you said, you shocked the world when he actually came up and started playing as a forward. So when you unleash the beast, guess what, boys? Number 4 is going to be on that score sheet a lot this year.
And kind of like what you said, if somebody, God forbid, does get injured in the transition or defense, I think Ian McKay will drop back there, 100%.
And Benny gets up, or whoever else gets called up, but still.
Absolutely. Looking at this one, I'm circling this guy too, full-time, or his, so he was a rookie last year, but he's getting a full season this year. Lucas Nielsen. You're going to see him out the front door for most of the season at least. 6 foot, 180 pounds. We got a little bit of a taste of what he can do last year. He looked great in that Las Vegas game. Hope to see some big numbers from Lucas Nielsen. Josh Byrne obviously coming back. I mean, focal point of your offense, quarterback of pretty much every single power play that the Bandits run. Josh Byrne, Mike Triolo, 6'7", 225 pounds as a forward. Boy. What in the world, dude? He's going to be a big screen guy. If you guys thought that Brandon Robinson was the epitome of Thomas Vanek, Marcus Foligno screening the goalie in front of the net, just a big body to shovel in the rebound, just wait until you guys watch Mike Triolo dress up in the orange and black, because, dude, holy smokes. Those are numbers that you read those, you read the height, you read the weight. This guy, what he's done to the Bandits in the past, big physical power forward. I'm so excited to see him. Clay Scanlon's first full season as a Buffalo Bandit. He's going to be filling in for a lot of the time that Chris Kluche, or the time that Chris Kluche would play if he was brought back on a free agent deal. Clay Scanlon's filling in that spot. Tony's boy, Kyle Buchanan, number 90.
One more year, baby. One more year.
The water bug is back for a year. 5'8", 165. But I'll tell you this, he plays like he's 6'8" every single night. Dane Smith, the Great Dane, to round out the forwards on the active roster. A little bit of a switch around here for the transition game. We saw that Ian McKay was bumped up to offense. Well, a former defenseman was bumped up to transition. A guy that really showed out in the 2025 finals on defense, Thomas Whitty, is a full-time transition now for the Bandits. I'm excited to see what he can do. He's got wheels, dude. He knows how to make the breakout pass, and who knows? We might see some Thomas Woody transition goals this year. Fire me up for that, too.
Yeah, especially how well he was defensively, and he got to set up the plays to make the offense get his work done. Whitty is one of those guys that you just underestimate, and he's like a Justin Martin, small, but he also works hard like the rest of them. And you know what? Thomas Whitty, even though what I thought when we brought him upon from Rochester to us, I'm going, okay, well, let's give this kid a chance. Let's see what he can do. I don't think he disappointed anybody the past season. And he got to taste championship gold for the first time. And now with having that little bit of a criteria on his shoulder, now he's going to really show you what he can do transition-wise. He's good on loose balls. He knows how to set up a little shimmy give and go, but give him a chance. I think Thomas Whitty is going to be a number to watch out for too as well.
Oh, you're damn right. Nick Weiss coming back. Weiss's piece is on a 1-year deal.
One more year, too.
Yeah. Him out of the transition, 6'2", 212 pounds. Love that. How about Ron John, the kid from Angola, New York? He's coming back on a 1-year contract as well. 6 foot, 200 pounds. And, if you ever go to a game and you look over to section 107, you see the John family. They all wear the 33 John jerseys. They show up to every single home game. I love the dedication. I love seeing the John family in the in the seats of Banditland. And of course, the Milkman is back on a 2-year extension. 6'2", 240 pounds. He is your Fogo guy. And you know what? If he's going to be a transition, I want to see some transition goals from the Milkman, dude. Remember how loud that building was in that San Diego game last year where he scored that goal? Can we get more of those? Can we get more Milkman goals? Like, we need to see – he needs to go to the Max Adler School of Face-Off Get-Off. You remember how many times Max Adler would win a face-off and take it down the field and just score by himself? I want to see that out of Connor Farrell. That would be the dream scenario. I got to see multiple – and I mean multiple – Connor Farrell transition goals this year. I think that would be phenomenal to watch. And then you round out the defense. Cam Wires, love having him back, 6'5", 220, an absolute building. Speaking of buildings, Paul Dawson on a 1-year contract as well, 6'5", 237 pounds, brother of Dan Dawson. You could argue, as far as defending goes, I think he's a much better pure defender. Dan Dawson was a goal-scoring defenseman. If you're talking simply defending and blocking shots and playing overall defense, I think Paul Dawson was the better of the two. It's great to have him back for his farewell tour. Dylan Robinson, 2-year contract, I believe. 6'2", 180 pounds. He is underrated on this team. You need him on your defense. Steve Priolo has moved from transition to full-time defense. How about that, Tony? The captain. You're going to see a lot of him out the back door, too. It's going to be great. He is 6'5", 227. So just look at these players, and then Zach Belter, of course, we have to throw him in there as well. Zach Belter is a focal point, concrete part of your defense. Block shots, is very physical, sticks up for his teammates too, which is huge. It's great to have Belter back on a 2-year extension. I think he was the first Bandit to get a contract extension, if I'm not mistaken, since the league opened from their very, very brief lockout. But Zach Belter's back. Dude, let me just read you these. Ready? This is our entire active defense as of right now. 6'5", 220, 6'5", 237, 6'2", 180, 6'5", 227, 6'5", 225. Height. Are you kidding me?
And a wall in front of Vince. How awesome is that going to still be? That we have that defensive core still remaining the same as last year. So again, for all these hotshot players in these teams, you got to go through a wall to get to Vince. And good luck with that, because our defense is pretty solid once again this year.
And you got a bunch of different flavors on this defense too. You got Cam Wires, who could be the potential goal scoring defenseman, and then you have your Dylan Robinsons, who is very, very fast but can also defend well. Then you have your shot blockers, bro. You got your Zach Belters, you got your Steve Priolos, you got your fighters, Priolo, Belter, and then you got Paul Dawson, who does everything. I mean, this guy does everything, probably except score goals. So you got your different tastes, your different flavors there. This one's interesting, though. 4 goaltenders on the active roster as of Tuesday, November 25th. Steve Orleman, Evan Konstanopoulos, Matt Vince, and Waukegan Shoganosh.
Yeah.
4 goalies.
Unreal. 4 goalies. That is kind of odd, but I'm like you said, if our Dietrich's got a little ace up his sleeve, he's going to do something with one of them. So we'll have to wait and see until he does.
I think he does.
Like, I don't know what he's going to do, but
if you look
at keep all 4.
Yep. Well, I don't know, because if you look at our practice squad right now, I think he could work some of his wizardry, as Adam Levy called it. Kyle Matisse, we're going to go to our injured reserve as of right now. Kyle Matisse is on the injury reserve. Matt Spanger, he's a big part of our defense. Sucks to see that he's still not back. He's still dealing with the nagging injuries from last year. He's still not back yet. And rookie Coltrane Tyson, a forward, 6'6", 205, by the way. He is on the injury reserve. He got banged up in training camp, and so did Kyle Matisse. Let's go to the practice squad. Very interesting here. Taylor Dooley, defenseman that we saw a little bit of last year, is on the practice squad. Rookie defenseman, or it's labeled defenseman, but on the website it also says transition, so we'll have to see what it says there. Carter Coffey, 6'1", 195 pounds, and to round out the rest of the roster, one more player. Welcome back, 40-year-old out of retirement, Ryan Benesh. So as of right now, Tuesday, just saying Tuesday, Ryan Benesh is on the practice squad. Something could happen tomorrow, something can happen Thanksgiving, where hey, he might be able to play week 1, but Ryan Benesh did get cut yesterday. He is on the practice squad today. They're still working out the kinks of the new collective bargaining agreement, but he will be a Buffalo Bandit this season.
Yeah, having Benny back is going to, like I said before, is going to bring that veteran leadership to the team. And also for these younger kids and the rookies that come into play, you're going to want to take notes from the 6th overall goal scoring on the Bandits team. Not too bad for that, and also add on to it. So Dane Smith, Josh Byrne, good luck, but you got somebody right behind your tail coming right for that scoring title. Ryan Benesh.
No, you're exactly right. And, Stainhouse is up there. JT is up there. I think Joey Razzaterrets is in the top 10.
Sure is.
A lot of those guys in there. Roger Weiss is up in those numbers, and the Kilgores are up there. I mean, he's in a very good list, actually. But if anyone catches Stainer or JT, that would be truly impressive on this team. I think we know there are a couple players already that are in that top 10 list that are still on the roster, and those, 92 and 22. But that goes without saying, of course.
That's right.
Now, schedule predictions. This is where things kind of get tough. Again, let's go over the games. The Georgia Swarm, Halifax Thunderbirds, at Calgary, Desert Dogs, at Rochester, versus Ottawa, at Colorado, versus Philly, at Halifax, at Vancouver, versus Sass, at Toronto. Those are back-to-back, the Saskatchewan and Toronto games, versus Colorado, at San Diego, at Saskatchewan, versus Vancouver, versus Rochester, at Oshawa. That middle stretch of games, and maybe even the ending of the schedule, whoa, my goodness. That seems like a gauntlet to me. So we know what the Bandits usually do in the beginning of the season. They get off to a very, very hot start, and it's usually March is when they hit their little bit of a rut, and March is when that schedule gets tough. I mean, you look at the games in March here: Mammoth, Seals, Rush, and then the beginning of April, the Warriors. So those are tough games, and I think this is a season where the Bandits can't afford to get into a little skid like that. But if I'm going to go with my schedule prediction right now, the Bandits are a playoff team. The Bandits are also going to host a quarterfinal playoff game. I have the Buffalo Bandits going, and take this how you will. I see all those hard games on the schedule. This team has also won. Look at their track record. They've won back-to-back-to-back titles. They got a lot of up-and-coming rookies. They got a big veteran guy in Ryan Benesh. They still got the best freaking goaltender in the league, and they still have that whole core of defensive players. I don't even care. I don't even care. I'm going to say it. Bandits will finish the season in a top 3 spot in the unified standings, 13-5. Take that to the bank.
Well, I mean, I was at least going to say the same thing as you are, because that's their last 3 years have been around that average. They've been
14-4, 11-7, and 13-5. Those are the last 3 years that they've won the
championship. So it's roughly 12-13 win seasons. So again, that is the way to be. But now with the way things have changed, it might be a little bit tougher. It might be down to, like you said, it might be the top 3 teams of the league. And I don't know if that's going to be, if they're going to win it all again and be at number 1 and have the home field throughout the entire playoffs. That's going to be very, very difficult to say at this point, because we don't know what the other teams are going to bring. So, but
super early predictions though. So these could age like sour milk in the sun, but
of course. So if I was going to say what I feel, because I've been pretty almost locked up when we did score predictions, but now this is game predictions. So looking at the schedule that we just went through, and with the new roster moves and everything else, it's going to be tougher. But I'm going out on a limb. You say 13-5. I say 13-5. I'm going to agree with that too as well.
Let's go. 13-5.
13 wins should do the job.
We do have a pretty decent track record. Last year I predicted 12-6 and they finished 13-5. So I almost got that right. I predicted 12-6 last year. And they went 13-5. I predicted 14-4 though for the 2024 season.
Could happen too. Anything's possible.
Yeah, they went 11-5, or they went 11-7. They still won the championship that year. Don't get me wrong, but I was a little bit off on that one too. But it's hard to win 14 games when there's 18 games on your schedule. So that was probably just overkill on my part. But we got it. Save you the time. Tony guesses 13-5. My guess is 13-5. I think for this, you heard what we had to say. Now it's time to hear what Tony has to say. He's going to have to shout out our sponsors for us.
Yes, and we like to Banditland Boulevard would like to be sponsored by Mitchell's Tavern, located at 365 Sheridan Drive up in Tonawanda, New York. Guys, you haven't checked out their beef and wick and food and their self and services. Believe me when I say this, they will treat you like family. Also, guys, when you do go, mention the boys from Banditland Boulevard, telling them that we sent you there to go check it out, and I guarantee you guys will not be disappointed. Also, we'd like to thank Herney's Journeys. If you guys want to book your next big adventure and your trip, please contact Suzanne Pike at SuzannePike@Herney'sJourneys.com. Let her book your next big adventure. Also, we'd like to thank Beer Kind Brewery for making Ken Ton the biggest place to go to between Kenmore and Tonawanda. Guys, go check it out. They have a bunch of draft beers. They have a lot of samples of new tasting beers coming up, and they will make sure that you will try everything and you'll not go away without a smile. Also, we'd like to thank Nino's Pizzeria, located on Orchard Park Road and also in Hamburg. Guys, if you haven't checked out their pizza wings and their other foods like submarines and stuff, go check it out. Their food is phenomenal. They have never disappointed myself. I don't know if you've ever been there yet, Trevor, but I have loved their pizza since I was a little kid, and they have not disappointed me at all. So, guys, go check out Nino's Pizzeria. Also, we'd like to thank those who are watching us right now live on YouTube and through StreamYard. Guys, give us that like and subscribe to our channel known as Banditland Boulevard, talking about nothing but Buffalo Bandits lacrosse. And one more thing, we also are on every device known to man, your tablet, your phone, your radio stations, live on Spotify. Give us that 5-star rating that we talk nothing but good things about the Buffalo Bandits.
That's right. That's right. Couldn't have said it any better. There's just 3 words though that we it's been a while, Tony. I know we've had about 6 months off of this show, but
I know I got to get the cobwebs off on this one, right?
I remember we always ended the show with 3 simple words, and I always forget what they are. But how could I
remind you?
I'm just kidding.
Nobody can forget those.
They're right there. They are. Chris Swenson says them all the time. What are those words, Tony?
Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Let's go, Bandits.
Let's go.
It's time of the year, boys and girls. We're coming back.
13-5, 13-5. You heard it here first. Let's go 13-5. You know what? Let's win as many games as possible. Shut us up. Shut all the fans up. Win all the games if you want to.
That'd be difficult, but it could be possible.
I wouldn't mind it. Let's go Bandits, though.
Let's go Bandits.